is pretty much as bad as it gets. Came pretty damn close.
Mind, body, soul. Mind, body, soul. Mind, body, soul. Let the music roll. Feel the rhythm grow. Mind, body, soul. Mind, body, soul. Let the music roll. Feel the rhythm grow. Mind, body, soul.
Well, howdy there, friends. I hope you're doing great, and welcome back to Mind, Body, Soul podcast special. I'm your lovable host, John Morris, the artist, author, and coach for the creative mind, mental health practitioner and training, and all that kind of good stuff. And I just want to welcome you all to this show. Thank you so much for coming aboard and joining me today as we give you somewhat of an update, really, of 2024. It's been an interesting one for sure. And it's going to be completely, raw, shall we say, off the cuff. If you've got questions, please do feel free to ask them. This is kind of like an open forum in many ways. I've got to, I suppose, open this up by, with a disclaimer, which is the views that I share in this show are my own and my own experiences. And I'm just telling you, what I've experienced. I will not be naming any companies by name, but I'll be telling you what was going on and what was happening with me as it did. And it's the desire here is not to paint anybody in a negative light or anything like that, but is to tell a very honest and truthful and to give a very honest and truthful account of the preceding I suppose, story or narrative, really. So with that in mind, welcome. I hope you're doing great, folks. So 2024 has been a very strange year for both Katie and I. She is currently teaching with a private piano tutoring or tutorial business, so she is not able to join us today. Otherwise, would have had her along. But I'm here, and hopefully you'll make do. It's been really rocky for a number of reasons, and if you saw the show a couple of weeks ago, you'll know that Katie and I have been going through fertility treatment, and that experience in itself has been very revealing, very trying, I think, in many ways as well. So basically, we've been trying for about 7 years to have children, and as the old cliche goes, there's no joy yet. But we started to get really serious and talking about things like, what do we do if we can't have children? And I think for both of us, it was wanting to make sure that everything was okay. I've had long-term health issues. She's had long-term, health issues, and I won't speak for her. I'm not going to reveal anything with regards to her. Because I think it'd be unfair to do so, especially on a forum like this. But for me, having colitis, having, the need to have taken pills and prednisone and, Pentasa and the things since I was 15 years old, now 22 years I've been doing this, is left many questions. It's like, would you be able to have children and everything else? Well, the surprising thing was that both our tests came back completely fine. It was what they call an unexplained infertility. So it means everything is working right, everything's going right, everything's happening, but it's just not connecting. It's just not happening for us, for whatever reason. And that in itself brought a lot of challenges. So the medical practitioners. And again, I got to be very, very careful on how I phrase these things and word these things. The medical professionals and practitioners had suggested, taking pills to aid with fertility, and they were basically, a lot of them were vitamins. And you think, okay, well, vitamins, you not really any problem with that. You should be fine. But unfortunately, I wasn't, and we bought the pills from a very reputable company. It was all checked out. It was prescribed to us by the medical board, and notice how I'm really trying to not mention anything. And quite literally, it was one of the worst experiences of my life, folks. I got to be honest with you. It was bad. It was about as bad as it gets. I don't ever use this phrase lightly, but it was so bad that it was a case of what got me first: the mortuary, the morgue, or the asylum. These pills triggered, now, and there may have been an underlying thing as a mental health professional. I cannot rule that out. Um, but whatever they triggered was horrible. The depression that was there, the hallucinations that was there, the changes in personality that was there, the the severity with which it came that was there. I'll leave it at that. Was extreme and was crippling. Um, I'm kind of glad in some ways that nobody's seeing this, when we're doing this live. Um, because it means that, I'm just sort of free to, to do this show kind of thing without, you know, questions and things. Um, it was about as bad as it gets, and it was very, very close to a number of extreme issues happening. Um, and what it looks like, because we had spoken to the gynecologist and said, look, having these issues, or I'm having these issues and things. And their response was, oh, well, it could be the compounding agent. So again, if you don't know how medical pills and medication works, what it does is you take the pill, goes in your bloodstream, and then it goes into your brain. Now it's sending instructions to your brain to essentially align, increase, or decrease something that's either overproducing or underproducing. And that's what was going on. And that's what happens with every sort of pill that you'll ever take. As a psychologist in training, and one of the things that we always do is to look at, you got to look at the anomaly. So, what was introduced or what has been introduced now that's caused these reactions that wasn't there before? Well, obviously, the pills were, absolutely, unequivocally the cause. You then look at, okay, what's your proof of this? Well, I took them from January through Easter, and it was, like I say, it was bad for and it wasn't all the time. I think I actually took them for a week in January, and I had to stop taking them. And literally, the effects were so extreme that I said to my wife, I was like, I can't take these anymore. I cannot take these anymore. And then explored, okay, you're not taking the pills, you're maybe just tired, you're doing a lot of podcasts, you were not sleeping, you were doing a lot of shows with a lot of things going on. Will you try them again? So I did. I tried them just before Easter, and it was the same exact effects. And at that point, I had all my evidence. I had every single piece of evidence that I had. I emailed the company. They said, stop taking them immediately. They issued a refund for the packaging. But funny enough, when I contacted them to say, hey, look, I'm having these reactions. What do I do? They didn't email me back, which was quite surprising. Aside from, the initial email of, stop taking. The reason that I feel that it's really important to speak about these things very openly is because I know there are so many other people out there that have taken fertility medication and have had the exact same or similar results as I've had and as I'm still having. So what were some of the sort of side effects and things that I was experiencing? Well, as I say, extreme mood changes and mood disorders, um, contemplating mortality being one of the biggest ones. Um, One of the most surprising ones, and I know you probably wouldn't believe it by listening to me rabbit on, week in and week out, but was the inability to string together cognitive sentences and clear sentences. Um, there was a lot of confusion in my words. I couldn't get things out. I couldn't speak. I'd lost all interest in life in general, in any passions that I was doing. I was still, very much writing, and I enjoyed doing that. That was really the only thing that saved me. Quite honestly, I'd love to sit here and say, oh, it was my wife, it was family, it was, all that. It wasn't. It really, really wasn't. It was my books. It was writing, it was telling the stories, and that was my lifeline. As someone who sees, all of this as meaningless, it's very difficult then for a mental health professional and practitioner to come in and say, well, you got to find a meaning, you got to find something. And I know I'm being quite tongue in cheek and light-hearted about something that is a very difficult thing, because I know there's a lot of people out there that want to have children. I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to go through exactly what I've gone through. They'll go through, the pills. They'll go through the tests. They'll go through, what my wife went through, and then they'll look at the next sort of option is IV treatment, which is extremely invasive, extremely dangerous, and is only 25 to 30% chance of success rate. It is not a guaranteed thing, and it is extremely dangerous. It is not something that we agree with morally, ethically, on any form, any way, shape, or form. So looking at all of that, we are now looking at adoption. Again, we're looking at all our different options and everything, and it's been a really tough road. There's been several business partners that I've had meetings with. There have been a couple that, you know, I've had to step away from, quite frankly, because they neither appreciated nor got just how ill I was. That was even after telling them, and this isn't including extended family stuff and the stuff that we all deal with on a day to day basis, that have got families and that have got extended friends and all that. And one thing I learned during all of this is it is all meaningless. I sat and I watched, 3 out of my 6 businesses just close, just boom, boom, boom. I watched the team leave because we couldn't get funding anymore. And I was completely at peace about it all. I was completely at peace about it all. I was just like, you know what? And that's the genuine truth. When it came to Easter, I was like, I don't even care. I really just didn't even care. And one of the latest, I suppose, reminders has been sometimes God removes people from your life so as he can bring new people in. Because there was a number of times where, I felt so ill that I literally was just like, this is it. This is not going to clear up. This is not going to get better. And as someone who, again, had subscribed to Wayne Dyer's, mode of being, and Florence Scovel Shinn's mode of being, and all that kind of stuff, and I had to really, really take a deep, honest look into my own life and say, what's really going on? What's really happening? What's it really about? What does it mean for me? And that's why I wasn't on social media for a long time. Now, I know a lot of people look at it and say, my goodness, he was so busy on social media. I actually wasn't. I was just repurposing old content. It was the exact same stuff. It kept my name out there, it kept a handle out there, and it was a long time before, I even considered doing these kind of shows again. Not that many of you probably would have even cared, as our numbers right now are showing. But the reality is that I had to look at my future, and I had to look at everything very seriously and very honestly. I learned a lot about my own family. I learned a lot about my extended family. And one thing I will say to anybody that does end up watching this is if somebody is sick in your life and you know about it, whether they're a friend, whether they're acquaintance, whether they're family, business, whatever, just drop them a message and let them know that you're interested, let them know that you care, let them know that you're bothered about them, because there's a lot of people that go through this life that feel grossly unloved. And it is one of the hardest, most sickening things to actually ever face at all. At all. And I know what that was like. But the good thing is, folks, I'm back. I've alongside with that, I had colitis flare-ups as well, which is ulcers on your intestinal lining, extremely painful, extremely difficult to maintain and manage. There was a lot of things that was going on and happening. But like I say, right now here, the 5th of September 2024, at 4:31 p.m. in the afternoon, obviously. I'm here, I'm well, and I'm well enough to do these shows and hopefully, bring a little sparkle of positivity to your life, bring a little something. And if nothing more, I get to sit here and watch myself on the camera for half an hour, But that's our little update that we've some of the stuff that we've been going through right now. If you are a person of prayer and a person of faith, then please do keep Katie and I in your prayers, because it's been rough on us. It's been really, really rough. And one thing that I've found is when I started to realign myself and I started to realign my own mental health and things, that did help significantly. And I keep practicing that every single day. And if you're going through something like this, the advice that I would give to you is don't try thinking about what you're going to do next week, next month, next year. Sometimes just think about what you're going to do in the next 5 minutes, in the next 2 minutes, in the next minute, in the next 10 seconds. Break it down to its simplest form so you can actually manage with it and you can actually cope with it. And, and keep on going forward. That would be the biggest single piece of advice, because it's the one thing that really, really helped me when, when I was going through it. And this is a very honest, open video, folks, so, we may leave the comments on, we may turn them off, either way, but I felt it was something I wanted to share, even if, no one else was wanting to listen. So, thank you so much for those that will watch this. Thank you for listening. And until next time, take care. God bless. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Body, soul. My body.